Okay, this is an exponents mind map. We're going to have some very good mixed exponent questions after this. Well, that are examples of just about all that's talked about here. Now, you can use exponents to simplify questions, just general ones. And the key thing to it when you're simplifying with exponents is to put everything into prime factors. So if you see an 8, make 2 cubed. If you see 27, make 3 to the third power. And if you only have times and divide, you can always just use this product of prime factors thing and just use the laws of exponents and everything works out. But if you see a plus or a minus, then the trick is to factorize. You look for like 2 to the x power or 2 to the 2x power. You look for it in 2 or 3 things and you factor it out. And you might have to use all 4 types of factorizing to do it. But you use exponents to solve equations. You get equations like that are in this form, and then the key thing is you get the b by itself, and then you tip in times and turn this little fraction here. You divide by a, add b, divide by a, and then both sides you put to the n over m power, and that's kind of the secret. Sometimes with exponential equations, what you're doing is you try and get the bases the same, and then you compare the exponents. Sometimes they get tricky and you have to use factorizing, or there's a disguised quadratic equation in the question that you're doing, and you'll see it in the questions we're about to do. Let's just look at the first 3 here. Here's the mix exercise. Let's look at the first 3 questions. What do you do with 0.125? Well, if you've got a calculator, it's pretty easy. You put it in your calculator and press equals, and you know that your calculator will tell you that it's really 1 over 8. So it's 1 over 2 cubed. Well, to the 2 over 3 power, all I do is if I take an exponent and put it to an exponent, it's 3 times 2 over 3. It's 2 squared. So that's 1 over 2 squared. That's 1/4. Now here's this power of primes thing. Instead of 9, you make 3 squared. And that 2 gets multiplied by both of these exponents. So it turns into 2a minus 4. Now you've got 10 here. That's really 2 times 5. But the big deal is that exponent will sit on the 2 and the 5. It's a law of exponents. It says that that exponent gets distributed on the product of 2 and 5. Same thing with 6. A minus 4 ends up on the 2 and the 3. And 15 is just 3 times 5, but the exponent ends up there. Now, how do we simplify this thing? Well, we put down the thing with the same base, 3, and we look at a 3 here and a 3 here. I look at the bottom, it's 3 to the 2a minus 4. Well, here's a 3 to the 2a minus 4. What do? You go 2a minus this 2a. You write down the base, and then it's minus 4, but you're minusing minus 4. You subtract the exponents. When you divide 2 things of the same base, you subtract. And that's just going to equal 2a minus 2a, that's 0. Now let's look what's happening with the 2's. Well, it's a minus a, because you're dividing 2 things of the same base, but it's minus 2 minus minus 4. That's minus 2 plus 4. That's 2 to the second power. Then let's look at the 5's. There's a minus a, but then that's just 0, but the a minus a, but there's a minus 2 that stays there. Well, 5 to the minus 2 is 1 over 5 squared. It's 25. 2 squared is 4. That's just 1, so there's your answer, 4 over 25. Now here's when you have a minus or a plus. You've got to factor. And what is the factoring thing about? You see this 2 to the x power, 2 to the x power, it's common to both. It's a common factor, so you put it outside the bracket like this. Now 2 to the x times 3 times 2 to the 1, that equals this. Because 2 to the 1 times 2 to the x is 2 to the x plus 1, and there's the 3 multiplied in there. That's perfect. And then 2 to the x times the minus 4 times 2 to the minus 1, that equals this thing. Now, why is that so good? Is because 2 to the x minus 3 is really 2 to the x times 2 to the minus 3. You can write it like that. The 2 to the 2x's cancel. This is 3 times 2, which is 6. 2 to the minus 1 is a half. Half of 4 is 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. The 2 to the minus 3 is 1 over 8. You tip in times. and you got 32. So there you go.